I really want to cut that watermelon, but would that be too black?
Go for it. Cut me some watermelon.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Buffalo, New York.
I think I want some salt.
I moved to New York when I was 23 to go to grad school. At some point during my lesbian identity, things just stopped working, I think. You know, for me, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain that moment for a transgender person when you realize that being trans is who you are and this is what you need to do. I just remember just being uncomfortable with my identity, being uncomfortable with my body, being uncomfortable with being so masculine but still being perceived as and received as a woman. So I took some time and I thought about it. After about a year or so, I went to the doctors and I talked to my psych and started hormones. I think it's really hard to come out to your family as a person of transgender experience because there is a sense of loss that I think that sometimes we neglect. I tell people all the time that transitioning is not just for the person that is physically going through the transition. It's everybody around you. When I finally told my mother, she said to me, it feels like my daughter died. That was hard to hear. But at the same time, she's kind of right. Because I'm not her daughter anymore. I'm not her little girl, I'm her son.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a lot of people. They're still struggling with their pronouns. And I give them that space because I know it's difficult, because it took me a long time to get here, so it's going to take them a long time, right?
That's me.
Can I just tell you a story of how I came out to my father? I didn't come out to him. What I did was I went home and I took my girlfriend with me. And, I'm her boyfriend. I'm he to her, to everybody. I'm a man. He had no idea. He didn't say anything for the entire conversation. He didn't make mention of that happening. So when I finally got home to the Bronx, he called me and he said, yo, I just want to know what's going on. Is it he now? Is that what we're doing? And I was like, yep, that's what we're doing. He's okay, baby, I'm gonna go. He said, wait. I said, I can't be calling no man a baby. I said, well, you're my father, and I'm your son, and you can call me whatever you want. And then a couple of days later, he called me, and he said, okay, I've been thinking about something. He said, I can't call you baby no more, but I gotta call you something. He said, I'm gonna call you Bay Boy. I'll call you Bay Boy? I said, sure, you can call me Bay Boy. And then that was it. And he gets it. My 82-year-old grandmother, she called me. She said she or something. She got the pronouns wrong. And she said, I'm sorry, I'm trying. I said, well, you take your time. She said, well, I'm 80-something years old and I ain't got a lot of time left, so I need to get it right now. I work at the Hedrick Martin Institute. Hedrick Martin Institute is an LGBT youth services organization where we provide direct services and support services to LGBTQ youth between the ages of 14 to 24. Basically, I'm an HIV prevention counselor. I do one-on-one counseling with them. What we discuss is how to give them the best quality of life. My job is definitely challenging. This institutional racism and there's this institutional homophobia and transphobia that exists in America and it's constantly pounding out on these young people. And they're frustrated and they're angry. And they're angry because of the individuals that have abandoned them in their lives. They're angry at the systems that have failed them over and over and over again. It's really hard to deal with that every day. Particularly when you break through to these young people and you see some of these kids are genius, pure black genius. That's why I think it's very important for young black men of transgender experience to create mentor relationships.
So
you've been together for 2 years?
2 years next month. Yes. Like as soon as we both finish school, we're diving right into the whole family, extended family part.
Yeah.
So, marriage and engagements and
All of that.
baby.
Yeah. I'm straight identified, but I'm still a part of the LGBTQ community. I've definitely had some issues with some women in the lesbian community who feel that I have abandoned them. I've had one woman tell me that I traded in the bravery of being a butch woman for the safety of being a man, which I was like, wow. I had never looked at it like that. It's not easy being a black man. And I think that's kind of cliche. I think we hear it all the time. But that's the truth. Being out here in the world and understanding that as a black man in America, there are a lot of things that are set up against me, you know, and there are, just by my presence, just my stature and the color of my skin, you know, puts me in a certain box that I don't necessarily need to fit into. I'm cultivating my manhood. My manhood did not come to me by birth. It came to me through my transgender experience.